Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
I am always ready to learn some more.
Me too. And grammar can be a little confusing sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially in English.
Exactly. So many rules. And today we're tackling a pretty important one.
Oh.
The present simple negative.
Oh, yes. That's how we say no in the present tense.
Exactly. And we got some really great notes here to help us break it down.
Oh, excellent. I always appreciate clear notes.
Me too. It makes things so much easier. So let's dive right in. First up, how about we look at negatives with the verb to be?
Okay, sounds good to me.
So how do we form negative sentences with to be in the present simple?
Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. You simply add not after the verb.
Okay, so for example, I am happy would become I am not happy.
Exactly. You got it. The verb form stays the same. You just add not.
Got it. And of course, we can't forget about contractions, right?
Oh, absolutely. Contractions are super common in spoken English.
So instead of is not, we can say isn't.
Right. And for are not, we use aren't.
Easy peasy. And what about you are not?
Now, that one's interesting because we actually have two options.
Two options.
Yeah, we can either say you aren't or you're not. Both are perfectly acceptable.
Good to know. So we've got isn't, aren't, and two ways to say you are not. Are there any other important things to remember about negatives with to be?
Yes, there's one very important thing to remember.
Okay, I'm listening.
You cannot say I amn't. That's incorrect in English.
Oh, that's good to know. I've definitely heard some people say that, but I guess it's not grammatically correct.
Nope, it's a common mistake, but the correct way is always I am not.
Okay, so we've covered negatives with to be. Now let's move on to other verbs like eat or go or play.
All right, so with verbs other than to be, we use do not or does not before the base form of the verb.
Interesting. So it's a little different than with to be.
Yep, and the main verb always stays in its base form, even with third-person singular subjects like he, she, or it.
Oh, okay. So could you give us a couple of examples just to make sure we're on the same page?
Sure. Let's say we have the sentence, I eat pizza. To make it negative, we'd say, I do not eat pizza.
And the verb eat stays the same. We don't change it to eats or eating.
Exactly. You've got it. Now, let's try one with a third-person singular subject, like he likes tea.
Okay, to make that negative, we'd say he does not like tea, right?
Perfect. See? You're a natural. We use does not because of he, but the verb like stays in its base form.
This is making a lot more sense now. Thanks for explaining it so clearly.
You're very welcome. Happy to help.
So we've talked about how to form present simple negatives, but I'm sure there are some common mistakes that people make.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even native speakers can trip up sometimes.
So what are some of the most common errors you've seen?
Well, one very common mistake is using the wrong form of do. Remember, we use does not with he, she, and it.
Ah, that makes sense. And I bet people sometimes forget to use the base form of the verb after do not or does not.
You're absolutely right. That's another super common error. People might say something like, he does not likes tea, instead of, he does not like tea.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. It's important to pay attention to those little details.
It definitely is. Those small details can make a big difference in your grammar.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We've explored how to form negative sentences with both to be and other verbs.
And we've even talked about some common mistakes to avoid.
It's been a great deep dive, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's amazing how much we can learn in just a few minutes.
And remember, folks, practice makes perfect. The more you use these negative structures in your everyday English, the more natural they'll become.
So true. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep practicing and you'll get there.
And hey, if you enjoyed this grammar breakdown, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful deep dives.
We've got tons of great content coming up to help you master the English language.
And don't forget to check out the links in the description for additional resources and exercises.
Have a fantastic day and keep learning.